Welcome to the five keys of, Welcome to the five keys to fat loss, even in menopause. This is the replay. I'm so glad that you've joined me. In today's discussion, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset, exercise, dieting, what you should be eating more of, and then an opportunity to work with me if that's a good fit for you. So let's start off from the top down, because success really happens when you are feeling good. This is an excellent book by B.J. Fogg. He is a world-renowned behavior scientist at Stanford University, and his book is called Tiny Habits, and it's similar to Atomic Habits by James Clear. But what I like about B.J. Fogg is he really focuses on small wins and just enjoying the process, taking a look at what you're doing and saying, this is what success looks like today. And where weight loss is concerned, we want to remember that we are more than just our weight, and success is not just measured by the scale. And it's important that we're looking at other things than the number on the scale and those non-scale victories. We need to be believing in ourselves in the process. And honestly, if you cannot believe in yourself, you need to find someone who does believe in you. One thing that we do in Food Camp, which is my nutrition coaching accountability group coaching call, is we always start the call off with wins, and oftentimes people can't find the win. And because I'm in touch with these people, looking at food logs twice a week, I really know what's going on in their life. So when they can't find the win, I help them find the win. And we usually leave that call feeling fairly empowered and more ready to tackle the week. We also talk about goals and how we're going to, what we're going to focus on that week. But the key is really surrounding yourself with positive people, finding support and accountability to keep you on track, and really, as I said, focusing on those wins. All right, switching gears, let's talk about changing your mind about exercise, because a lot of times people think that we should be exercising for weight loss, for fat loss, when it's actually not for weight loss. We want to be considering exercise for other reasons. Here's a study that talks about how caloric restriction appears to have the most profound and consistent effect on weight loss compared to exercise alone. So we need to be looking at nutrition instead of exercise as a weight loss tool. Now, exercise is really for fun and function, and so we need to be creating a calorie deficit with nutrition first. And so we want to be exercising so that we're strong to do the things that we love, so that we're functional as we age. And the key is finding something that you love and that you can do regularly. And remember that exercise frequency is more important than duration. I'm constantly talking about things like movement snacks. So lots of times, if you can't get a workout in, then, maybe you could get a 10-minute or a 5-minute movement snack. And people often discount movement snacks or just short bursts of activity as having any value. But honestly, over time, those are the things that help move that needle forward in terms of fitness and functionality. And finding some kind of social support and accountability are also helpful. I think you'll see that as a theme throughout. I'm a big believer in not going it alone. So having talked about exercise, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about resistance training as a must. So, those movement snacks could be some kind of resistance training. Here's a study that says that we must consider resistance training as we age, because our strength is gradually going to decrease from age 30 until age 50, and then an accelerated decline at age 60 and beyond if we're not doing something to offset that, because we will be losing muscle tone, muscle mass, muscle strength. And strength training increases our resistance training increases our strength by actually increasing your muscle mass. So when you lose muscle, you're going to lose functional losses in strength. You're going to become weaker and your balance capacity, putting you at risk for things like falling. And so we need to consider resistance training to counteract those age-related impairments. And keep in mind that maintaining your strength means that we need to maintain the muscle. So when I'm talking about weight loss, I'm usually talking about fat loss because we don't want to be losing muscle. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Oops, where are we? Oh, dang. Somehow I changed the view on this. So let me get back to the presenter view that I was looking at. Sorry about that. Of course, this is always the way. This is always how it goes when you're doing a recording. Where are we at? If you want more studies, reach out to me. I've got tons of studies showing how resistance training really is a must as we age. And something to, I think I missed a slide. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show. The action step related to strength training is that we really need to consider 2 to 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be a long session. Body weight training is considered resistance training. I mean, anybody can drop down to the floor and try some push-ups and know that, hey, your body weight is going to be hard to push off the floor. So body weight training is totally fine in terms of strength training. And I wanted to note that adding mass does not mean adding bulk, because muscle is more dense and takes up less space in your jeans, say, than fat. So if you're adding muscle, your clothes often feel better versus being tighter. So I do not, it's kind of that old thought that you're going to bulk up by adding muscle, and it's quite the fallacy, quite the opposite. So in addition to resistance training, NEAT is really where it's at in terms of fat loss. Now, what is NEAT? NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and it includes just all those low energy activities that you do from morning till night. So they are the things outside of exercise. And the thing is your workout might take 20 minutes, an hour. Even if it takes an hour, which is a very long workout, you have 23 other hours in the day where you could be doing NEAT. Well, obviously not when you're sleeping. But so the calorie burning capacity of NEAT is much higher than what would be available from your workout. Now, here's a study that shows that NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, has a remarkable effect on metabolic rate because it stimulates greater energy expenditure over time. So, for example, as compared to resting levels, sitting, you're going to burn 5 to 10% more calories, standing 10 to 20% more calories, and walking 100 to 200% more calories than at rest. And this is not, the 200% would be like walking briskly, but just getting those steps in is imperative. So the action step related to NEAT is just simply stay more active, increase your step count. Anybody that remembers those old commercials when we were kids, and I'm Canadian, the participation of parking farther from at the grocery store, using the stairs, all those things are valid ways to increase your caloric burn throughout the day. Now, as far as steps go, it doesn't, 7,500 to 10,000 steps a day is a great goal. But if you're only getting 3,000 steps, just increase it. Just do a little bit more than what you're currently doing. Now, let's switch gears and talk about nutrition, and specifically diets, because diets actually don't work. Here's a study with 22,000 participants, 14 popular diets in this study. Modest weight loss, 3 to 5 kilos over 6 months. Granted, there was cardiovascular improvements at 6 months, but at the end of 12 months, all weight reductions and improvements in cardiovascular risk factors largely disappeared. So it doesn't matter what diet you're doing, they're mostly unsuccessful. On that same topic, I do want to clear carbs, because a lot of people seem to think that carbs are the absolute nemesis of weight loss, fat loss, but they're really not evil. Now, here's a study that shared that it talked about low carbohydrate versus balanced carbohydrate diets in weight reduction. Actually, little to no difference in weight loss or cardiovascular risk factors after 2 years follow-up. So if you think that cutting carbs is the answer, that's not necessarily the answer to your fat loss goals. So basically, the problem with diets is that it often labels food as good foods, bad foods. And the bad foods become taboo, and then, we can't have them. It leads to cravings. When there's, we really need to not assign a value to food. They are not inherently good or bad. There's just better investment foods and not so good investment foods. And you intuitively know what these are. Good investment foods are those foods that are going to keep you satiated, help you move towards your goals, keep you fuller longer. I guess I said that one, but, help build and maintain your lean muscle, prevent nutritional deficiencies. Those poor investment foods are ones that are hyper palatable, maybe high in sodium and fat, more packaged and processed. And there's room for those in our nutrition. We just don't want to have all our food coming from those foods that are hyper palatable and don't meet our nutritional needs. So the action steps related to nutrition is that we need to be able to find a way to allow for all foods in our nutrition plan in moderation. So we want to be filling up on those good investment foods. We want to find ways to have those fun foods, so to speak, in our nutrition plan. We just need to learn how to do it. The other thing that we need to do is we need to eat more of one specific food, and all foods actually, but one in particular, and that is protein, especially as we're entering perimenopause and menopause, because protein keeps us fuller longer. It supports fat loss over weight loss. And the way it does that is it helps to preserve and build our lean muscle. And lean muscle is our metabolic fire, because muscle, it takes more energy to fuel muscle than it does adipose tissue. So if you're wondering how much protein, here's a ballpark figure. Take your desired weight, not your current weight if you have weight to lose, your desired weight in pounds, and you're going to multiply that by a factor of either 0.7 up to 1.2. Now, that's going to give you how many grams of protein you need per day. If you're sedentary, you're going to use the lower number. So for example, if you're 150 pounds, you're going to use 0.7. Your ballpark protein need is going to be about 105 grams of protein daily. Now, if you are doing intense exercise, weight training, you're going to use that higher number. So again, if you're 150 pounds as your desired weight, you're going to multiply that by 1.2, and you're going to eat about 180 grams of protein a day. Now, that might seem like a lot for you right now. And so whatever you're eating, try and eat a little bit more. So if you're currently eating 50 grams of protein and can't imagine yourself eating like 100 or 120 grams of protein, just eat more than you're currently eating and aim for, as a start, 100 grams of protein per day. Now, here's a study that supports that idea, and it just says that consuming more protein, more than the recommended daily allowance, is going to help reduce body weight, and it does that by enhancing composition by decreasing fat loss. So it encourages fat loss and helps maintain and build lean muscle because it preserves the lean muscle that you already have. And if you're resistance training, it's going to help support building what you're, what you would build with your resistance training. Keep in mind that the daily recommended allowance is only 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And that is really just a number to prevent deficiency, not optimal health. So we want to keep in mind those things like keeping fuller longer and building lean muscle. Those are critical as we go into perimenopause, menopause. And so that's why we want to consider eating more protein. In fact, we want to be able to eat as much as possible. Your goal should be not to be on the lowest amount of calories. You want to be eating as much calories as you can to either create a calorie deficit if that's what you need, or to maintain your weight if that's what your goal is, because chronic low calorie eating actually causes metabolic adaptation. That's a fancy way of just saying your body gets more efficient on less calories. So it's like your metabolism starts to slow down. And so we want to prevent that. Eating more creates a more sustainable way of life, and it reduces the fear or the binging. Because if you're white knuckling it with low calories Monday to Thursday, come Friday and the weekend, a lot of times people just, it's spring break. You can't keep that low calorie eating maintainable. And so oftentimes that's when the binges happen. Now, eating more is going to slow down progress in a way, but it reduces that yo-yo dieting. And the thing with fat loss is kind of like baking a cake. If you bake a cake at 350 degrees for an hour, I don't know, I'm not a baker. Maybe that's how you bake a cake. You could not say, you know what, I am going to jack that temperature up to 700 degrees and bake it for only 20 minutes. You're not going to get the same result. So you can't speed up fat loss. So you might as well have slower and more consistent progress, a better quality of life, and feel more in control along the way, because you get to eat some of your favorite foods. You'll have a better lifestyle and quality of life along the way. Now, I want you to consider this. What gets measured improves. Now, imagine you were trying to create a budget, but you said, you know what, I never want to look at my bank account. I don't want to look at the numbers coming in. I don't want to look at the money that I'm spending. It would be very difficult to create a budget. And this is similar to trying to create a calorie deficit. Now, money isn't good or bad, just like calories and weight. They're not good and bad or bad. They're just numbers. So what we need to do is we need to neutralize the numbers, whether you're creating a budget or a calorie deficit. We just want to look at numbers so that we can kind of quantify and connect the dots between what we're doing and the results we're getting. So here's a study with nearly 1,700 participants, and it showed that those people that kept daily food records lost twice as much weight as those who kept no records regarding intake and results. So the action here would be to consider food logging in some way so that you can connect the dots between what you're doing and the results you're getting. So you could do this with a free app like MyFitnessPal, or there's a Fitbit app. You could take pictures with food. There's an app called See What You Eat, and that helps to quantify. And getting some help in terms of accountability and direction regarding your food choices is really helpful once you get in the habit of taking a look at what you're eating, because there's a natural improvement in food quality, quantity, once you're paying attention, but then it kind of falls off when it's like, okay, well, I've gotten to a certain point and now I just don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing right, don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've gotten some results, but I've kind of hit a wall. So getting accountability and direction is helpful after that. And remember, it's not the accuracy of your food logging as much as the accountability of it. Because honestly, if you are quantifying, hey, you're going to have an Oreo cookie, you log it, you see how many calories are in it, you're probably not going to eat the whole bag. So that has some natural curbing effect of things, eating maybe unhealthily. So the other thing that I want you to consider measuring is actually daily weighing. And now I don't want you to run away screaming, because I know that can be triggering for some. So other things you could be doing is trying on a pair of favorite pants, or doing a waist to hip ratio can be helpful. But here's the thing, and I'm going to get back to the weighing, because if you want to quantify your progress, if you only weigh yourself once a month, you have one data point to assess your progress. If you measure every single day, you're probably going to have 28 to 31 data points to consider your progress. And keep in mind that there are so many reasons why your weight can fluctuate. And so having one data point is not going to be super helpful, because it might be up because, hey, your carbs are up, your sodium was up. Like, these are all the reasons. Like, exercise can increase your weight. Alcohol has a profound effect on weight in terms of hydration. Your hormones, what time of the month it is, when did you eat last, when did you weigh yourself? Did you weigh yourself on the same or a different scale? When did you have a poop last? These are just a few of the things that can affect your weight. And so when you weigh yourself more often, you'll be able to connect the dots. You'll be able to see a pattern. Lots of times when my clients are doing daily weighing, they'll, at first their weight might be up a pound or two, and they might have a mild freak out. And I'll say, okay, let's look at yesterday's food. Popcorn, a little more sodium, or, oh, you had soy sauce, a little more sodium, or, oh, you had like a drink. Honestly, there's no judgment. It doesn't matter. I just try and help them connect the dots between, oh, weight is up because of these factors, or, oh, hey, hydration is off. So, oddly enough, when you are less hydrated, sometimes your body's going to hold on to more water, because that's what it does. So there's lots of reasons for why your weight fluctuates. And so connecting those dots is very helpful. Now, knowledge is power, because when you know better, you do better. And it can be very challenging to separate the facts from the fiction, especially in menopause. Now, if you want some more support, I run 3 challenges a year. My next one is Menopause Belly Fix. What I offer is accountability with food logs, checks twice a week, weekly coaching meeting. That's my food camp. Access to me 24/7 through an app. I provide actionable information to achieve lasting, I should say fat loss, not just weight loss. I provide a personalized plan. The good thing about my challenges is they also include live and on-demand workouts, and access to my Nutrition Academy, which is a portal with short 3 to 5 minute videos on, information that is vital to your success. Like, why do you need protein? Hey, what's the role of alcohol? What about fiber? Why am I bloated? All kinds of things like that. And so you get lifetime access to that. So in this case, you could check out Menopause Belly Fix and either get on my waiting list, or, one might be starting soon. You can reach out to me. I wanted to share what a few of my clients have to say.
I've learned so much about food and exercise. I honestly feel much better equipped as I enter this new chapter in my life.
It's taught me a lot about accepting where I'm at, working for progress, not perfection, and also helping me realize that I actually need to eat more to reach my goals.
With Shauna's program, she gives you the resources and the education to get you unstuck. I learned so much about diet and exercise. I wish I had met her sooner.
I highly recommend working with Shauna. I've known Shauna now for almost 10 years. So knowledgeable, and she helps you understand your body.
After starting to work with Shauna, I felt like I had both knowledge and compassion to take charge of my health. And I have seen so much improvement in my strength and in my mindset. She is truly a godsend.
Shauna provides you with the tools so that you can become more knowledgeable about nutrition, workouts, and really learn how to listen to your body. Will Indeed Gain is a very supportive community and a coach who encourages you and really wants you to become more knowledgeable and listen to your body, which truly is powerful.
It is inspiring me to get outside and get my steps in. It's watching nutrition and being coached along the way.
Great trainers, awesome workouts, never know what you're gonna get, different every day. Really great nutritional support and awesome people.
I've learned so much about
Oops.
food and exercise.
Don't know how we ended up getting twice on that.
I've learned so much about food and exercise.
Move on. Oops. Oh, and now we're at the beginning. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, that is the masterclass. If you are watching this replay, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm not going to be recording the questions because I feel that is private to the people that attended the call. I'm happy that you got this far in the masterclass and would love to hear from you any feedback or questions that you might have, or would love to see you in my upcoming challenge.